Good morning. It is Monday morning. It is 11:05. I was a few minutes late because I realized I hadn't changed my cat box. Well, I was gone all weekend, but I was like, oh, it needs to be changed. And just couldn't go live at all until I took care of it. So, good morning. We are here. It is Monday. It is May 23rd, and it is 11:06, and it is a fucking beautiful day outside. It is just gorgeous. I know this weekend was, for those of you who love the heat, it was beautiful for you. For those of us who are just like, no, it was a little warm. Um, I got to spend most of the weekend inside, so it didn't quite actually matter. It was rare that I even left I was at Patty's house. We were teaching all weekend, and so I stepped outside for the first time since Friday on Saturday night to go to dinner. We had our last weekend of the Reese Thomas Institute just this past weekend, and we graduated 26 beautiful, amazing master healers. It was so powerful. It was so powerful to see the culmination of 3 years of intense work. It was just so unbelievable and breathtakingly inspiring. I've been talking about all year how much work they've been doing, and it was magical. It was magical. I love teaching in the third year because it's the culmination of all of it. And these men and women who are so brave and so like showing up way out of their comfort zone, coming together as a group, they the tribe aspect of the school, I think, is one of the most powerful. You're with the same group of people who see you and love you and adore you for 3 years. That's a bond. I remember when I went through school, I these people had seen me ugly cry in a way that like nobody got to see at the time. And I was so safe and so held and so supported. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter what I showed up with. They loved all of me. They saw all of me. They saw the bullshit. They saw the amazing. They saw the as one of my dear friends likes to say, the asshole. And they loved me anyway. And it was really their love and support that helped me get through it. And so to be a part of this tribe coming together like that, like this bond that will, like, I graduated six when did I graduate? 2017. So what's that, 5 years ago? I know if I called up any one of my classmates, still to this day, they would be right there with me. They would be in it with me and share with me and chat with me. And that's a soul tribe, right? So if you are interested, that we have an event, we have an open house kind of event on June 12th. It's in person in Dedham, which I understand, if being in person right now might feel a little scary because of the COVID numbers, and I get that. And we're going to take some precautions. We're talking about what we're going to do to sort of make sure that day is as safe as possible. But if you don't want to come in person, you can come online. We're going to do a live stream, maybe Zoom version of that day on June 12th, and you get to experience what the school is like. And I really encourage any of you to come to that. I think I can't remember how much it is, $47 maybe. It's cheap, and you get to bring a friend. And the point is really just to give you to give you some uh, juice in it to actually it's not the money. The money isn't necessarily the money. Maybe covers the cost of the hotel, but it more is like to give you a stake in the game. Um, and you can, like I said, you can bring a friend. But if the $47 fee is too much, then talk to me, and I'm sure I can find a way to get you in anyway. But you get to come and experience kind of the work that we do. So anyway, talk to me about the June 12th day because it's really going to be amazing. Um, and what the other thing I wanted to talk about is I'm not sure how many of you guys follow or watch the We Can Do Hard Things podcast. But if you haven't discovered this podcast yet, I highly recommend it. It is really powerful, and they talk about things that are so on point, and it's just such a feel good podcast. It really is just a feel good podcast. It's Glennon Doyle, and who wrote Untamed, and Abby Wambach, who is a soccer superstar with the women's national team, and Glennon's sister Amanda. And the three of them have these just beautiful discussions, and they talk, they have interviews, they have guests, and they have, conversations about really important topics. A couple weeks ago, last week, I think it was last week or the week before, they interviewed Elizabeth Gilbert, who is just one of my most favorite. Yeah, I don't know what she is. Spiritual teacher, writer, author. I don't know. I don't know how to describe her, but if you don't know Elizabeth Gilbert, you should absolutely acquaint yourself with her. She wrote Eat, Pray, Love, which is her most famous book. She wrote Big Magic, which is a book all about creativity and really kind of some powerful um, insights. She wrote a book a couple years ago, last year, 2 years ago, called City of Girls, which was just a delightful romp. But she's just like a super powerful spiritual writer, wonderful person. And so on the Glennon Doyle podcast the other day, they interviewed Elizabeth, and she was really talking openly about her journey with her partner who passed away, and just her journey with her addiction to codependency and people and all this stuff. And one of the things that she talked about was her relationship with God, with the divine, with what she calls the God of her understanding. And it was so powerful for me. I had to stop. I was driving, and I had to stop the car and just like absorb it and like let it in and take that in. And I just was like, I know a lot of it. A lot of times I talk to you, or I've mentioned before that at least a big part of my spiritual practice is always around surrender and asking for help. And if you're joining us live, please say hi. Please check in, say hi, let me know who you are. If you're watching a replay, please let me know if you're watching a replay. Just, let me know who you are and where you're at and how things are. And if this resonates with you. And if it doesn't, let me know that too. So part of my spiritual practice for a long, long time has been surrender and asking for help and really leaning into saying to God, the divine, whatever, thy will be done. I know this is bigger than I am, and I don't know how to get myself through it, so please help me, show me the way, guide me. And that has been my practice and my, I want to say, lesson for the past, since COVID. It's certainly since when I got COVID. So that was the very beginning of 2020, very beginning of the pandemic in April 2020. That has been my practice of like I had to learn. So I got an I got an OWL level, maybe any WT level in surrender. And that has been really, it has helped me get to where I am, and I breathe and I lean into it and I just say, okay, help me go through this. And then I was listen, and it's been amazing. It's been ridiculous. It's been super powerful as a practice. So then I was listening to the podcast with Glennon and Liz, and Liz Gilbert was saying her practice now is she had this conversation with the divine, and she was writing, and the divine would write back, and her answer, she asked a question of like, how do I get through this, or how do I do this, or whatever, and the response was, let me do it. And so then she started talking about this practice, this way of being. She said, what's my lesson? And the lesson was humility. And she was like, oh God. And I had that same reaction because I was told really recently, my lesson right now is humility. It's no longer surrender, it's humility. And I was like, damn, like what am I going to have to be like, what is going to happen for humility? Because surrender nearly undid me. And so to hear her talk about her lesson was humility, and what that meant was it's not painful. It's not this like something you have to go through and slog and pain, feel the depths of it. Humility is let God do it. That you don't actually have to do anything. You don't have to make a decision. You don't have to even think about anything. Your job is to just let God do it. And that hit me. Like I said, I had to stop my car. It hit me like a ton of bricks that humility means, that the humbleness means I don't have any control. I don't have to do anything. I just allow, and God or the universe or spirit just takes will do it for me. So I've been exploring this just a little bit, and I'm just brand new into this. Like I can't even say I'm a neophyte yet. Like I'm not even like I'm just sort of in the inquiry of what that kind of even looks like. But I'm just realizing this, like, I want to say relief. It just feels like, I don't know, a weight has been taken away, and I just keep rather I'm not even asking for surrender anymore. I'm just saying, okay, God, help me. Do show me, do it for me. Lead the way. You lead the way and I will follow. It's a new level of surrender, but there's also, like I said, this incredible freedom in it. You know, at the end of every year at the Reese Thomas Institute, he creates this powerful temple of light. It's a totally silent meditation. And we get to sit in this temple that he creates energetically, um, and commune. And every year I've been to since I started, like, the Temple of Light was what brought me into the Reese Thomas program in 2014. Like it was that moment. I had this moment of, I sat down in the temple and I was kind of irritated and triggered and frustrated and all these things. And I was like, okay, what is it I need to know? And I was really, and they were like, my guides just as loud as could possibly. And it was one of the, like, first times that I started really having conversation with my guides as real direct conversation. I said, "What do I need to know?" And they said, "Are you ready to start being a healer and stop talking about being a healer?" And at that moment, my soul just like started weeping, right? Like it was that soul calling. And I signed up for the program and I haven't left. I've never left since. So every year since then, when we do the Temple of Light at the end of the year, I get my marching orders for the year. I get my what I'm supposed to be working on, what's coming. I get direction for what I'm to do. Why my work, the next level of work for me. Either the spiritual work I'm doing out in the world or the personal work I'm doing to get there. And so yesterday we had the Temple of Light, and I sat, and rather than say what do I need to know, I asked the question, what would you like me to know? What would you like to teach me? Which was a total different way. It was a total different energy. It was a total different opening point. What would you have me know today? And the answer was keep doing what you're doing. It was a real confirmation of what I already knew. It's always, I always do it as like a, it doesn't even, I don't even think of it this way. It happens as like a call and response, like a question and answer period. But that's how I talk to my guides anyway. I always have this question and answer. A lot of times I write it down, but I got this moment of of clarity. I asked about the Fierce Happiness Institute, and they were like, "Well, that's already happening." And I was like, "Fantastic!" And I was like, "What do I need to do?" They were like, "Nothing. We got this one." And I was like, "Okay." Um, I asked about some like what journey and process and they basically they said just keep going, keep doing this path. And I asked, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And the answer was be in the world, but not of it. Be make peace in the world. And I really had this moment of like at the end of it, like I saw myself as a giant eagle, wings outspread, and I was flying over this like scene of like trees and forest and rivers, and I was out in some, I don't know, maybe beautiful Pacific Northwest where there's, or I don't know, wherever, someplace where there's trees and forest and ancient wood untouched, and I watched myself soar over the landscape, and just like just beautiful, being able to like, it was freedom, it was freedom. And I got to it was such, like I said, there was such a peace in it, there was such a freedom in it. And they said, this is humility, this is what it feels like when you let us do it. And I said, sign me up for that. So today, I encourage you, I challenge you even to find the next level of surrender. And really, what does it mean to let God do it, right? What is it? What do you need to do? What do you need to say yes to? What do you need to say no to just let God do it? And really, truly, all you have to do is ask and then get yourself the hell out of the way. So that's my challenge for you today. Let God do it. And again, if you don't know how to do that, this is my practice. This is my daily work. And I absolutely will teach you how to get there. Yeah, we got to clear out some shit. Absolutely. Let's do it though. I promise you, the end result is pretty amazing. I think that I'm going to be doing, I have a few different classes that are in the works. I don't have dates for them yet, but I'm absolutely going to be doing, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing a chakras class. And what I think we'll do is it's like sort of going to be a mini version of my 6 month long shadows and chakras course, which starts again in the fall. But so I think in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to do like a chakras 101. So we'll look at each chakra, what the demon of that chakra is, what the how it operates, how each chakra builds upon each other, how their levels of consciousness, and what each chakra represents. So I think that's going to be, it's either going to be like a couple of hours as like a master class, or I might actually do it as like a 3 or 4 week evening kind of class. And if you have a preference either way, let me know. But really, I want to sort of start talking about chakras as like the pathway. I do a shadows through the chakra class. So we go through each chakra and we spend 4 to 6 weeks in each chakra. What does it feel like to hold that energy? What are the what did you what are the how did you put that chakra into shadow? What do you need to do to come into balance of that chakra? What does it mean what does it mean in the first chakra, tribe and root and family? So what are the rules that you were supposed to play by in terms of body and physical world and tribe? And how did that shape who you are? So that's the longer term course that I do, and it will start in the fall, and absolutely I think everybody should take this course. But for the short term, I think, to sort of as an entry point, I think I'm going to do a Chakras 101 class. And like I said, my Chakras 101 class is probably everybody else's Chakras 301 class. It's graduate level because it really is like how each chakra is a level of consciousness, and each one builds on the next one. So that's coming. I just have to put the I just have to play with the times and dates. The other thing I'm probably going to do this summer is again I'm going to bring back the Fun with Shadows class. So it's going to be an introduction to shadow work. And again, that'll probably be a 3 or 4 week class, kind of ongoing, just as an introduction to what does it mean to do shadow work? What is that? Is it should it be a scary thing, or actually can it be a really fun thing? And I promise you, shadow work is 100% the path to get to this place of spiritual surrender. That's the shit you have to clear out in order to get there. So stay tuned for both of those things. I always give you guys the first crack at it, and then I post it live. And talk to me about the June 12th day, because I think there's so much of this work that we need in the world. And if you don't know where to start with me. Like, I still have the 4 weeks to fierce happiness thing going on. Like I said, I think that's just going to go on ongoing. So that's for really short money. You can do 4 weeks of intensive work with me, one on one, and that clears the blocks. That clears the shadow. So there's a ton of ways to work with me these days, but the option, it's not an option to do the work anymore. So this is your call to action as well, because we can't be passive about our growth anymore, because the world needs your light. I love you all, and here's to humility. Have a great day.